Hey, hello, how are you? Welcome to Citizen Father Podcast. I am your host, Guy Bowling. I'm a father, I'm a grandfather. I've worked in the community for a long time serving fathers, and we're happy to have you today. And thank you for joining us. And do we have a treat for you today? I can't believe we are recently launched the Citizen Father podcast. This is actually our second show. And we're so thankful for those of you who are able to watch, in addition to what we have in store for you today. And we have a treat. But before I bring on the folks that we will have on the show today and talk with them, today's topic is managing fatherhood and entrepreneurship. And we're going to have a couple of guests on today to talk about that. And we're going to explore a little bit about what that's like, trying to balance the both of those things. But also, too, I want to tell you a little bit about Citizen Father. What is Citizen Father Project? Citizen Father Project our vision is to have fathers change the image of manhood and fatherhood in the urban community and beyond. And the mission is to have fathers working together to support and educate and develop healthy, active fathers and to build family and community values. And lastly, who is a citizen father? Citizen father is a man who is dedicated to his children and works to build a community that supports and develop healthy, active fathers. And what is the podcast all about? They came to me and they said all the gentlemen who are citizen fathers with our leaders from the Father Project program and created this leadership component. And they said, what else can we do? And they said, why don't we have a podcast to be able to share with the world who we are and what we're doing? So that's how this came about. And so with that being said, we're going to get into today's topic. But before we do that, I want to bring on a returning guest, somebody I've worked with for quite a while. He can tell you a little bit more about himself. I'm about to bring him on, and I'm going to ask you to join me in welcoming Mr. Anthony Tungstow to the show. Hey, there he is.
What's up?
Hey, we like to call him a couple of different names. I call him Ant, A-N-T, like the insect, but that's short for Anthony. But I'm glad he's on the show. I just wanted to say, welcome, brother Anthony. How are you?
I'm all right, man. I'm good. I'm at the airport, either finna jump on a flight or get some overtime. Trying to decide right now. You know what I'm saying? So if you hear some stuff in the background, it's I'm at the airport, but that's what I do. So
last time you was on the show, you had Air Force One. And
hey, man, that's how my life is, man. Because some people like you just move too much. I'm like, I can't help it, man. If I sit still, I don't know what might happen, man. You know what I'm saying? But fortunately, I'm able to be around in some good places and places where I need to be at to catch things that that need to be caught. And we got something later on to give you an example of why I am who I am and where I be at. So that's what it is. My name is Anthony Tungstow. Go ahead.
So you also not to cut you off, but you also go by the name of you got ATP Productions, right?
Yep.
You got the Evolution of Fatherhood, some other work that you do.
Yeah.
Right? But you also is known as Mr. Visa 360, what we can see on the screen right now. Absolutely.
Yes. Right.
We know you do a whole lot of stuff as it relates to traveling, and we got a treat for our audience today. Part of your travels and what you do to further show them, what I say to you about who you were, what you actually originated that's popular now, that you started that, many years ago. So we'll get an opportunity to see that a little later in the show. But with that being said, welcome. So other than that, anything in particular you've been up to lately since we last met?
No, just working. I've been out to San Francisco and working on an artist development retreat here for Black Friday that's coming here to Minnesota. There's some artists from San Francisco coming to Minnesota on Black Friday, hosting that with Navarro down at the Terminal Bar. But there's some information there, and then just running, man, just running, getting the stuff doing, getting the van, getting the venue, getting the Airbnb, being like you. Like this is how you are, you know what I'm saying? You just constantly, I'm like, wow, I don't know how I gotta do it, but this is how you do it. So I'm getting a little taste of that, and I'm trying to decide Brazil or Belize. I don't know. I don't know. For my birthday, I just, my birthday.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's
Well,
what it.
well, you'll definitely have to come back and tell us all about that, brother. So,
So will.
yeah. We're glad to have you back. Glad to
Yeah.
have you. Anthony and I have been working together doing this fatherhood work for a long time, and so we're happy to. Also, we used to co-host together and do a podcast together a few years back, and was fortunate enough and got an Emmy nomination on our first time out. So I don't know how that happened, but sometimes when it's in the works and the creator got a plan, that's the way it works, brother.
Yeah.
Uh, but just even for me, as we prepare to bring our guest on the show, father and son, as a matter of fact, which is what our show is all about. Father,
Yeah.
right? The podcast is all about. It's all about what we've been involved in. It's all about what's passionate for us. It's also about personal for us, and why we just enjoy dads and talking about dads and everything about dads, because dads are not monolithic, and we do all kind of stuff. So with that being said, I'm probably going to ask you to mute Anthony while I'm talking about this, because I can hear a little bit of stuff in the background. So I'm going to just say a little bit about, before we bring the two guests on. I'm supporting my Minnesota Vikings today. I got them live in full effect. They on a winning streak despite obstacles, despite adversity. They on a winning streak, and they're gonna do some damage today. So with that being said, this is my support of the Vikings, y'all. So I can't be mad at whoever else is out there that supports their team. Matter of fact, do what you do, but this is me promoting and supporting our team. So hopefully everything goes out well today. So with that being said, I'm gonna bring on our first guest that I think you really gonna be in a treat for. Again, Mr. Billy Hill and Mr. Deontay Hill, and we're gonna get a chance to talk to them and have them share a little bit more about their stories, and also about being dads, right? And also about being entrepreneurs. And two guests that I think that really is inspiring and motivating. I think you're really going to enjoy it. So with that being said, on the other side of this commercial break, I'll bring our guests back, and we'll get a chance to talk to Mr. Billy Hill and Mr. Deontay Hill. So we'll see you on the other side of this break.
Success Express Marketing Solutions presents your virtual video podcast studio. Let the Success Express team help bring your podcasting dreams to life. Here's what we do. We help you come up with show ideas, design graphics for your show, set up your podcast studio, and run the back end of your show. So what do? Be ready for your show. Make sure your guests are ready. Log into the virtual studio, turn your cameras on, and go. Not sure you're ready to go live on a monthly or a weekly basis? You can get the Try Us Out Success Special. It's only $97 with free design setup. All you got to do is try us out, and I guarantee you're going to want more. So get set up today with your virtual video podcast studio from Success Express Marketing Solutions. So go online to Success Express MKTG, and we'll get you set up today. Sign up now and get our free ebook, Modern Podcasting, that'll teach you all the techniques you need to know to get your podcast started today.
All right. We are back. We are back to the Citizen Father podcast. And we got a treat for you. As I said before we went on the commercial break to pay the bills, we got a couple of guests today, father and son, and I'm going to have them say more about themselves. But first, what I'm going to tell them to do is pull over, because I see some stuff moving in the background. I'm going to tell them to pull over, because I see the blue skies above their head and behind them, but I just want them to be safe. So with that being said, welcome Mr. Billy Hill and Mr. Deontay Hill. And gentlemen, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself, and I ask you also to not only introduce yourself, who are you, what do you do, and then I also want the second part of that to be, tell us about your journey and what it's been like to become an entrepreneur.
Hey, so we have some little difficulty. Yeah, we had no, it's all right. I think you were saying first off, good morning, good afternoon, go Vikings, everything. I'm Deontay. This is my dad right here. And yeah, I mean, can you kick that off again, Guy? Because the sound was all these kind of
Oh, it's all good.
distorted when
It's
you
all
said
good.
what you said. So what were
Yeah.
you saying?
Let her know who you are, what you did, and then also too. I know you also got a family, and in addition to that, Deontay, tell us about today's show is about managing fatherhood and entrepreneurship. So tell us about not only who your family is, but also tell us about your journey in becoming an entrepreneur and what was that like? Tell us a little bit about it.
All right. Well, man, actually, God is good. We end up parking right where I started at over here at Girard. I started from over south. I'm Deontay from over south, but actually, my wife and I had a place over here on the lows of the north side, across the street from Olson, and I started out really from here knocking doors for other companies, construction companies, and it was a situation where I was like, this is cool, but $15 an hour doing this for years upon years, 6 days a week outside like this. I mean, it was almost a means for an end. At some point, I would need to kind of figure it out. So I was like, man, I've seen a lot of these dudes do. Sorry, had to turn it off. But a lot of these dudes, these sales guys, like kind of kick it off to where they was doing. You got the last one. They was doing sales, like, you know what I mean? Like they would drive these nice cars, and they was, doing this. Obviously sales. It was a situation where I was like, man, I'm gonna take a risk because $15 an hour is, all I know. But at the same time, look at how they doing it, but it's straight commission. You know what I'm saying? And it was a risk because at the end of the day, you don't really know how good you're gonna be. You don't know if it's gonna last, and you don't know when your next paycheck's coming back when it's all commission.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's straight up. So,
Mm-hmm.
taking that leap of faith was kind of what really plateaued me to say, you know what, I can do this, because I end up having a skill for it. I end up really teaching them how to sell at their companies.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually somebody tapped me on my shoulder and said, look, man, you could do this yourself. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, basically all it is going to get your license and kind of going through that procedure of just really taking, doing your thing. So I ended up doing that, and it was just, off to the races. Pretty much everything I was teaching them to do, I just invested in it myself, and that turned into a lot of help for my family.
And tell us a little bit about what all it is that your company does, and then kind of where are you today? We've talked with you in the past, and I think you were just getting started when we talked with you in the past. So you updating us now, where you driving convertibles and out in the sunny skies and blue skies. Yeah. So
No,
tell us a little bit about what your company does.
we well, first off, God is good. I could not do anything without him at all. All this is God given, all God driven. But at the end of the day, yes, to be blessed the way we have been has been amazing. I know you did a loaded question there, but as far as the transition of it, basically we do siding on existing dwellings, windows, roofing. Actually, that hailstorm has been a blessing in itself, with all that over north. And actually, right now, is a lot of word of mouth. Because when you do great work and you do it to accommodate the people, it seems like everybody just attaches to that situation where they want to tell somebody about it. And to God be the glory, it's been a kind of almost like a network over here of everybody just kind of coming together. And yeah, that's kind of how what's going on with it right now.
And I hear you keep referring to the lows and the north, and our audience may not know exactly where that is, but I'm going to be real specific because it just happened to be a little personal to me because that's the side of town that I come from. But you are talking about the infamous and the famous, as well as the incredible North side of Minneapolis, correct?
There's a lot of beauty over north, south side, Minneapolis, and I can't go without south side now. But I would say Minneapolis in general has been good to the Hill family.
All
Yes.
right. All right, all right. Well, we appreciate it. Now I'm gonna ask the man to your right, as I can
Yep.
see my left,
Yeah.
to introduce himself. Sir, who are you and what do
Who am
you
I?
do? And the second part of that question is tell us about that journey to becoming an entrepreneur. So who are you, what do you do, and tell us about that journey to become an entrepreneur.
Okay, first of all, my name is Billy Hill. I'm the father to Deontay Hill. He's my oldest son. Um, and what I do is cosmetics to individuals in the neighborhood as far as keeping them groomed and keeping them feeling good about themselves. You know, when you look good, you feel good. So basically, I own a barber shop and a salon in the community. I've been in the community, serving the community for over 24 years. I can definitely say I'm blessed with that being said. Um, and like I said before, I don't know. It's only been God, man. I came from a family. Basically, we didn't really have a lot of entrepreneur that was in our family.
Mm-hmm.
I stepped out on faith on something. I've been driving the MTC bus line for over 30 years. Um, and at one time, like midway, towards the beginning of my career, even with the working for the city, I always said I want to start my business. I want to start a business, but at the same time, I didn't know what type of business I wanted to start it. But with that being said, I found something I love to do. It didn't seem like it was work, and I was just cutting my kids' hair. So basically, I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and just try this out and go to school for it and things like that. So once I went to school for it and got to perfecting my skill, I started looking at maybe looking at it as a career, but actually, like I said before, as something plus on top of what I was doing with the bus company. So with that being said, a lot of people were saying, you know what, you make good money, man, with the bus company, with the city, and I said to whose standards, and I said basically, you know what, um, God's blessed me to be with the MTCO for 30 years, and with pensions and salaries and things like that. From the naked eye, it's like, okay, he's doing good, he's got everything going for himself and things like that. Why would he basically want to go on to something else? But that was that burning desire inside that I wanted to have some type of ownership, some type of legacy I can leave and say, you know what? Besides having an impact on getting people and transporting people, something that for myself that I can basically say, you know what, Billy Hill started this in the community. This is what he basically the seed that he planted, and maybe he can motivate somebody else in the community as far as starting their own business. So, with that being said, didn't know the type of influence that I had with my son, but at the same time,
Mm,
I know that just being positive and the hard work that was already um, in him, or within me, that definitely that he had in him, that it just carried off into that for him starting his business. So, like I said before, I just stepped out on faith. He was watching, um, and I told him, when he was working with the company before he started his business, he was saying, what, Dad, these people, I'm doing the groundwork, and these people are basically coming in with these nice cars and things like that. I said, well, you got to do the same thing as I did, I
mm,
said,
mm,
get in with these people, understand the logic and the way they do things, and then start your own thing, because that's exactly what I ended up doing. I got out of
mhm,
school with a bus company. I mean, from the barber school, and then plus I was driving, doing the bus company. I worked underneath someone for about a year and a half, seeing how they was running their business, and I said, you know what? I must take that and start my own thing, and this is the do's and don'ts that I don't want to end up having with my business, so I can basically have hands on and say, you know what, this is what I want. So I just take that same concept and I gave it to him, and he just took it and just, man, the sky's the limit. And right now, I forgot his brother's name. He said he's at the airport, things like that. Right now, I'm just sitting in this car. We come from church, so at the same time, we just trying to get in where we can fit in. But we wanted to make sure that we made this podcast, so maybe that we can touch somebody, man, and give them some type of inspiration on, this father and son thing, man. That it's a beautiful thing, but at the same time, it's they learn by watching, and it's really a good thing for us to check ourselves as men and understand who's watching and is coming up behind us so they can keep the legacy going on. So, I know that's a lot, but at the same time, I'm just putting what's on my heart. I'm just bringing it to the forefront.
Well, brother, let me just say this. I appreciate you. We got one other question, and then I'm gonna bring Anthony, and he probably got a question for the both of y'all. But both of y'all obviously, what they always say: be careful when you give a preacher a microphone. Both of y'all got the gift of gab, and both of y'all don't have a conversation at all. At all.
He's trying to get the mic back, man. But I
right, and I'm giving an opportunity before you hand it to him. But I just wanted to comment on what you said because you're absolutely right. Because when you were talking about the grooming and what you do and the barbering, but talked about the journey, but I think that applies to all of us in everything in terms of when you think about what you look like, it affects what you feel like, right?
Yeah.
And when you feel like, right, you play right, right? And I think it was Deion Sanders that said, when you look good, you feel good, and when you feel good, they you play good, and when you play good, they pay good, right? Right.
Yeah.
That. So that made me think about. But your story is inspirational to both of you and how you and your son are doing well. But you also are fathers and you are men. In addition to that, and today's show is about managing fatherhood and entrepreneurship. So my next question for the both of you, and go back to Deontay. I'll start with him. So Deontay, I also know, and I don't know if you guys shared this or not. I don't know if you guys shared this or not. I believe you both are married, correct? Both are married.
Yep.
Right. So when thinking about being married, so your husband, so you got that role, right? You got the entrepreneur role as well as your father role, right? Those are three distinct roles. So my question to the both of you, because in order to have a child, 9 times out of 10, our children come from relationships that we were in. Every now and then it happens where you wasn't, but for the most part, you are in a relationship with the both of you being married. So Deontay, tell me and tell our audience, and then I'll open it up for Anthony to ask you guys a question. Tell me about what that like. How do you juggle that though? How do you juggle being a dad? How do you juggle being a husband? And how do you juggle being an entrepreneur? How do you balance all? Because those are distinct, demanding roles. How do you juggle that?
Well, I learned from my dad and from my family, you prioritize real early. What is most important? You got God, then you got family, and you got business. Ultimately, God has to be first. But you never put your business before your family because that there has to be the core of anything that you're doing forward. It has to be some type of reasoning what pushes you for that business to keep going during the hard times, the great times. But it's nothing without having it prioritized, and that's how I manage the situation. You never intertwine, the three.
Sure, absolutely. Because I know, and I'm going to ask Billy in a second to answer that question. But I know, some of the things that you encounter as an entrepreneur. Well, as you encounter as a dad, as you encounter as a husband, but particularly as you encounter as an entrepreneur, there's that. Sometimes we work so hard, we devote so much into making something happen that other things could be neglected as a result of it, right? Things that are priorities as well and important as well. And so it's a struggle to make sure you're balancing it all. And sometimes you just have to learn through trial and error on how to do it all and making sure that every priority is giving the same amount of devotion that you put into trying to start your business. So I'm gonna ask Billy to answer the same question with being a husband, being a dad. We see the influence that you have, but I also know you have other children. You didn't mention them, so make sure they get a shout out. But I'll let you do that in a second. Deontay as well. But tell me, pork. I'm calling you by your nickname, Billy Hill. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to refer to you that. Billy Hill. That tells the viewers in the audience we got a relationship. I'm calling you by your nickname. But back to your professional name, Billy Hill. Tell us a little bit about how do you juggle being a husband a father and an entrepreneur in in in
It's
in
all
in, in a brief way?
it's almost like the same thing that you kind of asked a single mother, a single
Mm-hmm.
parent, really, and that's the first thing that comes to mind. You just do it. You just do it. Several times I'm sitting there and ask my mom, Mom, you were single and you raised three boys by yourself, and then how'd you even, you just do it. And
Right.
you go with trial and error, but
Mm-hmm.
at the same time understand everything is not, there's not a guideline to it.
Mm-hmm.
But the only
Mm-hmm.
guideline that you definitely have to do is just want to do it
Mm-hmm.
and have a desire to do it, and ask God
Mm-hmm.
to basically mold you and shape you to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the best answer I can give
Mm-hmm.
you, because at the end of the day, with the other three children I have, Deontay's my oldest, Takari, and Asia Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my three that
Mm-hmm.
I have with their mother, that
Mm-hmm.
my ex-wife.
Mm-hmm.
So, in addition, I do have some stepchildren,
Mm-hmm.
and definitely acknowledge them. But
Mm-hmm.
I just want to, you just do it, man. You just do it,
Mm-hmm.
like I said
Mm-hmm.
before, and just have faith that everything will work out. But it really just starts back from a willingness and desire to do it.
It's funny that you say that, and I'm open up to have before we wrap up, gentlemen. I'm open up to have Anthony ask your question, but it makes me think about what you just said, Bill. Is you just do it, because again, I don't think it comes with a playbook, so to speak. It doesn't come with trainings like parenting and being a husband, and kind of like being a husband, being a parent, being an entrepreneur. You kind of learn by being one. You learn
Right.
about how to be a dad by being a dad. You learn about
Right.
how to be a husband by being a husband, right? You learn how to be by being an entrepreneur, and there's certain things you're going to pick up along the way that you just have to learn through lived experience. So I think I'm right there with you when you said that you just do it and you'll stay devoted to it, and then it'll come to you as you go, and just stay committed, because there's going to be things that come about that you're going to have to learn how to overcome and what to do. So then you got that life experience and that lived experience. So I'm going to ask Anthony, before we wrap up with these two dynamic young gentlemen, do you got a question for either one of them before we wrap up?
It's not so much a question. I just want to say I appreciate them explaining fatherhood in such an elegant manner and seeing the vision of a father and son together in business, married, and as you should say back in the day, modeling the behavior of what fatherhood and father and son relationship looks like, moving on to being married and having a family. I think that's just this is a snapshot of what we're trying to produce for the rest of the world to see of the blueprint of this is what it's supposed to look like. They say, well, what does it look like? It looks like this. It
Mm-hmm.
looks like a father and son hanging out on Sunday in their car, having money, having a beautiful time, kicking it, doing everything, and just living life accordingly. That's what it looks like. So no question, more so, thank you for showing this positive image of that as we do the show. So I appreciate you guys, commend you guys, and I appreciate you guys very much.
Thank you.
Absolutely,
Appreciate you.
absolutely.
Appreciate you, sir.
We're proud to have y'all. We appreciate having y'all. Thanks for the follow up, gentlemen. You're inspiring. You're motivating, and you touch the heart. Particularly the fact that you're a father and son. You took time out of your day to talk with us about what that journey has been like, being fathers, being husbands, being entrepreneurs. The last question I want to, and I appreciate that you guys have both talked about your spiritual piece, the spiritual piece to it, right? Can't do that without something larger than us, and we're not here to push that on anybody. But it's only our story. That's the only thing we can tell is our story. And I know power of conversion is a testimony. So there's somebody out here that needed to hear that. But the last thing I'll say is to the both of you: is there any, if you think about aspiring entrepreneurs, fathers, if you think about tips, strategies, what is something you would summarize and say, some tips that you would give for some of the folks that are watching that are fathers, on suggestions that you would give them on how to manage? And I think Pork, you kind of, I keep calling you, Billy, I'm sorry to the audience, but it's all good. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, yeah.
But any tips or strategies that you would give to aspiring entrepreneurs on how to manage entrepreneurship and fatherhood? Any tips or advice or
I,
suggestions?
I I would say just to kind of just love what you're doing. Have a passionate avenue on what you like to do, because like my dad was saying, then it seems like it's not work. You know, it's something you know. Yeah, and actually, I was listening to a podcast myself. That's real quick. Remember as a kid, you know, you get up for school, and you know after a while it's monotonous. But you had that one day where you had a field trip or something you was doing the next day that was different, and you got up early. You had your clothes picked out. You got up early because you're eager to do it. If you're sitting around just kind of just like, oh man, another day, switch it up, because you gotta love what you're doing. Every day is a new day, and it's something that just that has to excite you. Because after a while, it's like, what are you doing it for? You know what I'm saying? Enjoy what you're doing, love what you're doing, so that every day is just like, and they don't even gotta pay me for this. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my little advice on that.
Well, actually, that's the same thing I was going to end up saying. You find your passion that you can do something, and you don't have to get paid for it, but because your passion is basically you just love to do it. You just love the result of the going through the process, the creativity, the desire, the just the whole motivation, and say, you know what, this feels good. That's basically your passion for whatever you end up doing, and just go for it. And best believe, once you sit back and analyze it, you're already there.
Yeah.
You're already there. And then I want to tell you, man, Guy, I really appreciate, man, over the 30 plus years, man, that we've been friends and things like that, man. You're doing a fantastic job out here in the community, man.
Yeah.
I definitely give you your flowers right now.
Definitely. Salute.
Everything. Much love to you, man. Anthony, man. Hey, man. Always good seeing you, brother. You know what I'm saying? Y'all's doing some major things out here, man. And once you go ahead and get that that TV show and all this and that, the third,
don't forget about
hey,
it,
man. Hey, man, it might be a little bit more grayer, but you know what I'm saying? We'll be here. You know what I'm saying? God willing, man. So, like I said before, man, just thanks for everything that you're doing, man, in the community, and for everyone that's out here, man. And you know, as they say, at the end of the day, hotep, brother.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thank you both again. Totally inspiring, Anthony. I know you probably echo my sentiments. Totally inspiring and motivating, and love, right? And I know anybody who's watching can feel the love that you guys not only have between the two of you, but for what it is that you do, as you say. Because when you love what you do, it's not a job; it's a passion, it's a purpose, right? And understanding that, and I know how much you care about not only what you do, but the people around you and your family and your community. So I can't say enough about the both of you. And thank y'all both for taking the time to come and share y'all story with us, because I truly think there's some folks who are going to be inspired and motivated, you know, who are considering entrepreneurship. And I think last thing I'll say, how can folks, if folks want to reach out to y'all, how can they reach y'all? How can they reach y'all? Where can they reach y'all at?
Well, you can, with me, Urban Touch Barbers, Urban Touch Barber Salon, Minneapolis, 612-721-2113, or you can definitely go on Google and just the Urban Touch Barber. Just Google Urban Touch Barber. You'll see my reviews and things like that. I mean, I can talk all day long and tell you how good we do this, that, and the third, but the reviews speak a lot more volume to it, you know. So if you get a chance, just go ahead and just look up Urban Touch Barber Salon and look at our reviews, and man, the rest is history.
Yep. Google. Yep. Facebook, Google, but also 5-Star Exteriors 2009.com. FIVE. You know, just spell out the 5. But other than that, office number 612-504-2226. Again, 612-504-2226. Any hail damage, any of that insurance stuff, we'll take care of it for you. All you do is sit back, relax, and we'll let you know what's happening right after that.
All right. To salute to you both, and much love to you both. And we'll be seeing and talking with you soon. Hopefully we can bring you back. Would you guys come back if we wanted you to come back as well?
Absolutely. And I'll say this last thing. Chase the dream, man. Chase the dream. Don't chase the money. The money and all that, that's going to come. It's going to come. Just chase the dream, man, because at the end of the day, you got something in you. Everybody does.
Absolutely. Thank you, brother. All right. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all day, and God bless and Godspeed.
Right.
Take care, fellas.
All right, y'all.
All right. Now, what we're gonna do really quick is we're gonna come back on the other side of this and talk about what we just experienced. But before that, we need to take a short break. Got a great video I want to have you guys see, and we'll see you on the other side.
You see certain things get reincarnated in your children. My daughter is very much inspired by my wife's artistic pursuits. So my daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops. My dad wasn't around, and I remember riding a bike and falling off and cutting myself, and me never just wanting to get back on it. People ask, how your children learn how to ride a bike, and you didn't. I didn't teach them. I just created an environment where they taught themselves, and all I had to do was be there.
In the words of Anthony Tunstall, well, actually, in the experience that I've had with Anthony Tunstall, the only thing I could say about that last interview was, woo-wee. That was a great interview. Thanks to Mr. Hill, owner and operator of Urban Touch Barbers, and also thanks to Mr. Deontay Hill of 5-Star Exteriors. And so, thank them. I think that was just another treat. Exciting interview, motivational, inspirational, emotional. I think all those superlatives that I could possibly think of, and there's probably plenty more I can use. But any particular thoughts, Anthony, before we move on to the next segment?
No, man, I just think, like you said, it was a great interview. I like always talking to those guys. They always talk about fatherhood, and they such a dynamic duo as a father-son team.
Mm-hmm.
It just speaks volumes. That's all. But yeah, I'm ready to.
All right.
I'm ready to jump into next week's show already.
Exactly, right? Exactly. But before we do that, we still got some stuff we want to share on today's show.
Yeah.
Now, we got a new segment that we are introducing to the Citizen Father podcast. You and I have been talking about this for a long time.
Yep.
Because you just traveled, brother, and you are doing a lot of great work, have done a lot of great work in the community based on the love of what you have a passion and a purpose for. And, long as I've known you, you've been doing something related to your love of movies, to related to your love of travel, you're related to your love of fathers, you're related to, your love of community. And so with that being said, tell us a little bit about kind of the most recent thing that you did as part of that love that you want to share with us, especially as it relates to today and talking about fatherhood in the Citizen Father podcast. So set up what we're about to see next, and then we're going to come on the other side after we see it and talk about it. So set it up for us.
Yeah, well, like I said, I travel quite a bit. I do all of that stuff. It's kind of hard to brag about yourself when you're doing the stuff that you're doing, because it's like my man said, I would do it for free.
Mm-hmm.
This is just part of my lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm into film festivals. I'm on red carpet correspondent, and I just do a host of a lot of things. But this particular time, I was in the Twin Cities on the red carpet, and I had to talk to Terrence Howard. I got a chance to talk to Terrence Howard. He's a dad. He's an actor. He's community involved. So I said, what better way to show you this video than we had a semi conversation. I don't know if you really liked me as much as I think you did, but we had a chance to talk, and I want you to see the interview. You tell me.
Okay. All right. Well, let's play the interview. We'll come back on the other side and talk about it.
All right.
What's up, everybody? This is your man, Mr. Visa 360 in the Twin Cities at the Twin Cities Film Festival with Terrence Howard. I just got through watching Get Rich or Die Trying, and then you're here today, man. I could be right. If I'm wrong, I could be wrong, but I'm still right.
Everybody has that possibility of chance that they could be right or wrong. So you've got to trust your instinct and do what your heart tells you to do, because that's what got you to the egg against 500 million of your own brothers and sisters. So do what you follow your instincts.
Okay. 2 questions. One, I do fatherhood stuff. So what's the best thing about being a father?
Best thing about being a father is you're a reflection of the beginning and the primal one, the creator themselves, and you're able to see that reflection of a promise of eternity in your children. You have to be the same light that you expect to see in the creator so that your children will know the direction to grow. You have to reflect the creator and the light giver himself as a father. That's your responsibility. Nothing short of God himself.
Man, one more question. We done. Terrence Howard, Twin Cities Film Festival. If you had anything to tell those fathers, the world is going nuts, things are getting out of control, what would you tell those fathers that's on the edge of saying, man, I don't know, man, I ain't the best dad. I ain't really doing what I'm supposed to do?
It's not about what you feel and what you think you're able to do. You got to remember, every person on this planet, everybody, everything in this universe is here for the purpose of creating equanimity. Every action that you make has to be co-signed by every atom in the universe because it has to deal with the repercussions of that action. So in knowing that, you are here as a result of an attempt for the universe to balance itself. You are necessary. You are needed in just the way you are. Be happy, take a deep breath, and let God work his way in you.
This is Mr. Vision 360, the evolution of fatherhood. Terrence Howard, y'all need to stop playing. What's coming up next?
Next is we have MyHolly app, which is an opportunity for all you young actors, creators, writers to come into the world of entertainment without having to leave your day job, without having to leave school. You don't have to come to Hollywood. You don't have to go to Singapore or Tokyo. You can stay home and audition for any role throughout the world. We're launching the beta thing in about a week, and then it will be open for all of you actors, all you writers, all you creators to come together. We can get rid of the agents. We can get rid of the managers. We can get rid of the studios. We can get rid of the fake unions. We can get rid of the garbage and fight like a community of powerful artists. This is a movement. I want y'all to join Holly. I want you to take your dreams to the very top of what we can possibly do as humans.
Let's get up out of here, man. We done, man.
Wow. Kudos, Anthony. Kudos to you. That was absolutely spectacular. And what we're now going to be calling Around Town with Anthony. And so Anthony had the opportunity to talk to the great actor, Mr. Terrence Howard, known for many, many films that a lot of us may have seen. But what was that like for you, Anthony, to be able to have that opportunity to talk with Anthony about a subject so near and dear to our hearts?
I mean, it was great, man. Like I said, I got into it just because I want to hang out with stars and get pictures. But I realized there was a need and a gap to talk about fatherhood. And I just said, let me just take the shot at it. I think you was around when somebody said I was probably the first one to start a fatherhood show in Minneapolis, history to that. And that's just because I worked with you. I had the love for movies. And I just thought that would just be a great way to introduce fatherhood and the stories that come out of that. Just like the stories that we heard today on our guests. That's a powerful story. So if we can put that on a regular basis and people can see that every day, it'll start to change the vision and the mindset of what fatherhood is for people. Even if they didn't have the best relationship with their fathers, they would seek out their father and try to have some type of relationship. And so with women and children and men. So I think that's what it started for me, just getting out there in action. I've interviewed a lot of people that's fatherhood, you know what I'm saying? And I'm glad you give me this platform because I can dig in the archives and pull that up, let me pull up this and let me do that. So as a kid said, Cap, I got that. You know what I'm saying? I got that. Been there, done that. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just happy to be able to do this show and to promote fatherhood in a way that has never been seen before. That's all.
Wow. Beautifully said, brother. Beautifully said. And beautifully done. And
yeah, you know me. I don't know. I think he didn't like me much. You know what I'm saying? I get too comfortable with people. This me.
we won't even worry about all that. We'll worry about what he said and the fact that folks are able to see you do something that you're passionate about and you love to do it. And I'm gonna just tell you, keep up the great work, because we're gonna continue to have that little feature segment called Around Town with Anthony, or Around the World even with Anthony, because you also do international travel. So your love for fatherhood, your love for movies, your love for being able to really create the awareness about why it's important for us to be fathers and be there for our kids. So with that being said, I just want to say great work, great work. We're going to take another commercial break, and then we're going to come back on the other side and tell you what's up for next week and wrap up today's show. And we'll see you on the other side after this commercial break.
Hi, my name is Kijano Owens. I am co-founder of Success Express Marketing Solutions. Our business is cultivating more business for your business. I want to tell you real quick about our program that is one of the most comprehensive business development online marketing support programs out there, which is the VASP, VASP, Virtual Assistant Support Program. This system allows you to operate and run your business while we help monitor and help you cultivate more business for your business online. Contact us at 909-686-1698 and visit us online at successexpressmarketing.com. Look forward to helping you take your business to the next level.
All righty. Well, just want to say, man, what another incredible show. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, I'm your host for Citizen Father Podcast. Today's topic that we were focusing on is managing fatherhood and entrepreneurship. And I want to thank our guest today, Mr. Billy Hill and Mr. Deontay Hill, Billy with Urban Touch Barbers and Deontay with 5-Star Exteriors. I'd also like to thank my special guest who has returned to us with his segment on Around Town, as well as joining me throughout the podcast, Mr. Anthony Tunstall. I would like to thank him as well. And also, I would like to thank you for supporting us and tuning in. We want to continue to provide you with this information about fathers, because we do think that they're the most important resource, actually the largest untapped resource that we have in our community, and understanding what it means to be a healthy, active father, and why we created this Father Podcast, Citizen Father Podcast, to continue to bring that information about why it's important to not only support fathers, but understanding the benefits and the impact that it has on their children and our community and our society. With that being said, our next topic actually is going to bring on citizen fathers themselves and give you an opportunity to hear their stories and how this all came about, how the whole Citizen Father Project came about, which was originally part of a program called the Father Project, and talk a little bit about that, talk a little bit with them about what their journey has been like and why they joined the Father Project program, then why they wanted to become citizen fathers and help develop that, and then also now why they, along with myself, wanted to develop a Citizen Father podcast to further share with you who they're about, what they're about, but also the importance of fatherhood. So with that being said, until our next time, thank you for tuning in. God bless, and we'll see you next time. Have a good afternoon.